Human Genome Project took about 10 years and cost about $50 million to sequence one single genome. Now we can do that in a week, and it costs about $1,000. The work that we're doing currently here at Symbiodx in molecular pathology is very cutting edge. This technique, next generation sequencing, very, very few private laboratories such as us are using this technique. The advantage to doing it in a place like Symbiodx is we have 50 subspecialty pathologists, so we're able to have medical oversight of every aspect of the testing. Our pathologists are able to evaluate the morphology and directly correlate the morphology with the genetic sequencing, which to me is really essential and really accentuates the role that pathologists can play in delivering high quality care to cancer patients.
I feel like molecular pathology is new, but have a much broader kind of future to really integrate with the traditional anatomic pathology service. It will be much more powerful.
Our process for doing next generation sequencing starts with looking at the slide. We look at the tissue slide and select the tumor. This part is actually really important because you need to know what you're testing and you need to know how much tumor you have. From there, it goes through our sequencing process and the data is produced by the computer. Once we find the appropriate mutations, we actually send that off to a data aggregator service that we're partnering with. We then evaluate every piece of clinical information that they send us individually according to that particular variant and that particular patient's tumor type. We divide all of the mutations into 3 general categories. The first category contains mutations that are actionable. This means there's a directed drug or a targeted therapy for that specific mutation in that specific tumor type that's already known, that's already out there. The second category is applicable. What that means is there may be a targeted drug or a therapy or a clinical trial that is effective in another tumor type. So the physician knows that there is a correlation, but it may not be direct for that patient. The third category is unknown significance. This is where we put mutations that we know are significant or we think are significant because they're in the same tumor pathway or they've had findings in cell-based studies. So we put all the mutations in that category for future reference or for interest, but those really are unknown significance. Below that, we list out each gene individually and provide information about the gene. Then we list out each mutation and provide information about the mutation. Within that mutation information, we'll list specific drugs and specific clinical trials that are available that target that mutation. And in the electronic PDF version of our report, those links are live, so the clinician can click directly on the link and go straight to that clinical trial to see if they can enroll their patient.
It's very unique, I believe, in this country to provide such a comprehensive level of service to the cancer patient.
Here at Symbiodx, we're looking at a targeted panel, which means we're looking at 68 cancer genes. This is an exponentially larger amount of information than we were able to look at before. Before we could look at one little piece of one little gene. Now we can look at multiple pieces of 68 genes simultaneously in real time on multiple patients. So it costs less, it's faster, and it's also more accurate because within that one area, we can look at it hundreds or even thousands of times. Myself, being a molecular pathologist, and also all of our subspecialty pathologists in particular tumor areas, are available to speak with clinicians on a regular basis. And I can provide information prior to testing about what type of test is most appropriate. The benefit of having a targeted therapy is that it should be more effective at killing the tumor because it's targeted specifically to the tumor. If you target something to every cell in the body, you hope that it kills the tumor first, but you can only give so much, before the rest of your body really suffers. If you target the tumor, then you can give an adequate dose, and also you can exploit a particular weakness of the tumor.
Integration of the molecular service into the traditional service, I think that's the powerful part to lead the company to a new area.
Within about 5 years, we'll have access to sequencing whole genomes quickly and cheaply, and we'll also have the computing knowledge and the medical knowledge to interpret that information. So more and more information is going to become available, more and more therapies are going to become available. This is really a turning point for cancer therapy and cancer diagnosis. It's really an exciting time.